Tony Soprano. If you love sports without the fluff, he's got the master plan. 'Cause nobody does it like Thom Abraham, yeah.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
Oh, yes, Coach, we are on. It is Football Friday. Football Friday means football music all throughout the football show, and that means that the greatest piece of sports music ever recorded in the history of time is with us. Original Monday Night Football with Joe Buck and Troy Aikman and David Moulton. Yeah, I know we're in the middle of the madness, but come on. I mean, you know, the madness is what's been going on in free agency and transfer portals. No, last night was pretty special as well. Phone lines are open. Feel free to jump in. 256-576-4977. Station's Twitter feed is at 97.7 ESPN. My personal Twitter feed is at Thom Abraham Show. We're on the Twitch and the Facebook at 97.7 ESPN. You can watch the show there as well. Well, maybe just on Twitch now is where you watch the show. Other great information, though, at the Facebook page at 97.7 ESPN. Your YouTube channel, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Like and subscribe there. Follow us on Twitch. We are your favorite radio station. Go to ESPN, 977 ESPN.com. Get links to all of that stuff. And get the app, too, where you can find links to Zone 2 and 3 and 4. All our alternate streaming channels for more great programming. Coming up in a few minutes, Allan Bell Jr. will join us from CBS Sportsline. What a night in the Sweet 16 last night. I mean, two more number one seeds go down. Only Kansas is left now, and they've got Providence tonight. When was the last time, I put the crack research team on this, when was the last time no number one seeds made it to the Elite Eight? Has that ever happened? I mean, Kansas tonight has got an excellent opportunity against Providence, but who knows the way this thing is going. Has it ever happened before where no number one seeds have even survived, forget the Final Four, where no number one seeds have made it to the Elite Eight? Has that happened? And say what you want about the unfair narrative regarding Gonzaga. They burst onto the national scene in 2017, lost that championship game to North Carolina, lost last year in the final to Baylor. No team in the country has won more regular season or tournament games than the Zags in the last 5 years. But they still can't win the big one. And that funk will stay with them until they do. They play in a lightweight conference, and they better start finishing some of these seasons before they fade back into the woodwork. We've seen this with other teams before. Remember year in and year out when UNLV was great and then he disappeared. Valpo and then it disappeared. We've seen this before where teams have had runs. Now, for the last 5 years, nobody wins more games than Gonzaga, but they don't win the big one. You could say that's unfair. They don't win the big one. It's not unfair. Scoreboard is what it is. Scoreboard. In the end, that's all that matters. So now Arkansas carries the banner for the SEC. Elite Eight for the second season in a row for Coach Musselman in Arkansas. Good job by the Hogs. And how about Duke getting it done over a scrappy Texas Tech team? The Fighting Coach K's needed to shoot 71% in the second half to get it done. They made their last 8 shots from the field. Arizona is gonzo. Nova was like a machine beating Michigan. That sets up a great game with Houston. The Cougars. Phi Slamma Jamma Light. Phi Slamma Jamma. You know, that was one of the great sporting nicknames in the history of sports. You know, sometime over the summer, not during SEC Media Days, but sometime over the summer when you're in those dog days, we could do an entire hour on sports team nicknames, you know, like Cardiac Kids, Legion of Boom, Dirty Birds, Showtime. I mean, think about it. Phi Slamma Jamma. Some great nicknames. Coming up at the top of the 11, Brent Sobleski is back from the Bleacher Report. We are, what did I say, 25th? We are almost exactly 1 month out from the NFL draft. And it has been a free-for-all in free agency and in the trade market. Teams are just tossing draft picks around like they're nothing. What does all of that mean? And what does it mean that a second grand jury in Texas has failed to bring charges against Deshaun Watson? You know that old saying, you can indict a ham sandwich. But getting a conviction is another thing. They can't even get an indictment against Watson. So as skeevy and slimy as his behavior has been, allegedly, I mean, we're assuming, I mean, he admitted that he had sex. Well, that he had some sort of something with a couple of the masseuses. He admitted that there was consensual sexual acts with a couple of the masseuses. But as skeevy as his overall behavior has been, criminal it is not. And now Watson will meet with the media in Cleveland and speak for the first time coming up at noon. Is he going to just say, due to pending litigation, I can't talk about any of this? You think he'll just dodge it all? I don't know. What did the NFL do to Robert Kraft after the video had surfaced of his visits to the Asian spa in Miami where he got tuned up a little bit? Remember that? I mean, they had video of that. It wasn't like he said, she said. It was, here's the video. And remember, they ended up not getting convicted, illegal video, all of that kind of stuff. There was no criminal. Yeah, it was all dropped. But, look, I know how to use the Google machine. I spent 15 minutes Googling, has Robert Kraft ever been disciplined by the NFL? What discipline did Robert Kraft get? Remember, when that all went down in 2019, the commissioner said that everyone associated with the NFL, including owners, commissioner, front office personnel, players, are all subject to the same personal conduct policy. I can't find what the discipline was. Everything ends in 2020 or 2021 when the court case was over. I can't find what the league ever did to Robert Kraft in that whole deal. Look, I'm not excusing what Deshaun Watson did, but I'm wondering, you know, these owners, I mean, we see this, you know, we've seen stuff before about Jerry Jones. I mean, some of these guys, if you think that they're pristine, none of us are pristine. I don't know what happened there. How about a World Cup note? Italy, freaking Italy! Italia lost to something called North Macedonia. Denia. What the hell is that? It's like some, you know, country the size of Limestone County or something. And they beat Italy. And for the second time in a row, Italy won't even be in the World Cup. Remember, I ripped the U.S. for that, man. I'm like, are you kidding me? Anything that we can't be in the top 32 in the world in, we should not be doing. I called for the end of soccer in the U.S. 4 years ago because we couldn't make the World Cup. I said, that's it. Pop all the soccer balls. Tear up all the soccer fields. Stop it. We're done. that why Buggy doesn't follow the show anymore? Remember, I lost Buggy. Usually we're gaining listeners. Sometimes I lose listeners. I lost Buggy. I forget what it was. It was something political. Something he didn't like, political. I know he's a big soccer fan. I miss him. He's a Yankees fan. I miss Buggy. His contributions to the show. Italy is one of the most successful national teams in the history of the World Cup. They've won the World Cup 4 times as recently as 2006. Just the only country that's won the World Cup more than Italy, as Grizz would tell you, is Brazil. And now they miss it. What would this be like in like a hoops comparison? Let's bring it back to madness. Would this be like Kentucky missing the big dance? Like Kentucky doesn't even make the tournament. Kentucky has to play in the NIT. Italy's going to the NIT of soccer. Or like Duke not even making the tournament? Is this like the Lakers completely missing the playoffs? Not even the play-in game? Like if the Lakers finished 11th, 10 out of the 16 teams in each conference make the playoffs, what would it be like? I think that it's even more shocking than all of that, to be quite honest with you. I think Italy missing the World Cup is more shocking than the Lakers missing the NBA playoffs. In the meantime, the U.S. is on the brink of qualifying. They could have got it done last night in Mexico. They didn't. They're still in pretty good shape. Over there in that little glass room with the slanted ceiling, playing the Play Doesn't Matter and the Stacks of Wax. I don't know. Maybe he was watching some soccer yesterday. He's a big soccer. He's my soccer guy. He's my go-to guy when it comes to soccer. A little bit large on a Friday. It's Coach Chris.
Who in the blue hell are you?
I'm the producer of the show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put the thing together on a stick of polish.
Brilliant! I've got $100 smoking in my billfold. I know I ought to save it, but it's burning a hole. Right through my pocket and into my skin. Come Monday morning, I'll be broke again. It's Friday, I'm free again. I got my motor running for a wild weekend. It's finally Friday, I'm out of control. Forget the working blues and it comes time to roll.
Someone call someone because there's a cleanup on aisle 3 as a man is down.
It's like taking poison, like rat poison.
It's not St. Patty's Day, so that's a different day entirely.
Hey, Grizz, it's not St. Patty's Day, but it is Football Friday. How you doing today, man?
It is a football Friday. Well, it was a football Thursday anyway. I did watch a good bit of soccer last night because, if the United States had beaten Mexico, they would have clinched or pretty much been close to clinching because they would have gone into Sunday and possibly even tied or won and probably would have had enough points to move on to the World Cup with Canada. But they tied Mexico.
Didn't they have a couple of chances, too?
They had two really good chances. Pulisic missed one, and it's going to be tough. They are up 3 points. They're tied with Mexico, but they are up 3 points on Costa Rica. So
we're in pretty good shape.
Well, the thing is that they kind of have to win this weekend. They do have to win this weekend to kind of clinch it. And then they have to hope that Costa Rica doesn't beat El Salvador and they lose, and then they possibly lose. I think it's like one more game, and then hopefully that would be the clincher. But, it is what it is. And when you're talking about Italy being, big, yeah, it kind of is. They are the
kind of.
I would say, okay, so Brazil's got 5 World Cups. Germany and Italy have 4.
Right.
So they're the cream of the crop. They're the top 3. But that's over time. I get it. They've been really good, but Italy hasn't been very good since 2006.
But
and
that's not acceptable.
Well, I get that. No, I get that. They have Roberto Mancini as their head coach. He's one of the best.
They beat England in the Euro thing.
Yeah.
Last year, right?
2020. Yeah.
2020. They just won the Champions League or something or whatever the hell they call it.
The Euro League.
Euro League.
Yeah.
Come on. It's not like they suck. They're Italy.
Yeah,
Italy,
no, I know, I get
This is
it.
like the Lakers not making the NBA playoffs, don't you think?
Yeah. I mean, it's the cream of the crop. It's the top teams in any type of professional any sport. I mean, this is the Lakers. This is the cream of the crop. This is
Not
a
to
team.
mention, this is all they do there. They
Well,
don't
yeah,
do. It's not like they're playing
yeah.
football and they got basketball and stuff. They got some Italian, Manu Ginobili and no, wait a minute, he was like Brazilian. Who's the Italian guy that's playing? Gallinari. They got Gallinari.
Yeah.
They got some basketball, but they don't. This is those kids. They grow up doing this. That's all they do. Those kids over there. It's not like here. It's like, okay, you're gonna play baseball. Their best baseball player is Mike Piazza, and he's never even been to Italy. You know what I mean? I mean, you either play soccer or pretty much you're a criminal. I mean, it's just like one of the two things in Italy. That's all. You're either in the mob or you're playing soccer, and some are both.
I don't know about that, but I definitely have never felt more afraid at a derby or a soccer game than I've ever been at any other sport. I can say that for sure. I mean,
you went to Italy and saw a game in Italy?
Yes, in Stadio Olimpico, Roma versus Lazio. One of the biggest games in Rome, the derby, the two rivals.
That's cool, man.
I mean, people were shooting off flare guns, shooting off cap guns.
That's
cool. People get crazy. I mean, people have died in the last few years.
But they got nothing else to do
over this type of
the game
stuff.
There's nothing going on. You know what I mean? So they're like, that's why the crowd,
it's a blast,
chant,
though.
and they start fighting with
It's
each
a blast because it's like the cheering. I wish the cheering would be the same in football, where they're constantly cheering. You know what I mean? Not just people talking.
But you got action going on. You have to pay attention to what's going on in the field.
Well, I mean, there's action going on through soccer the entire time. They're kicking the ball around. There's stuff going on the entire time.
But I mean, there's no threat of anything.
But I mean, there should be like a
you know.
student section. If there's a student section in college games, like where I should see the student section constantly coming up with cheers or songs or something to try to get the crowd. You know what I mean? I guess that's the reason why. Well, I know, but how many times does like when like in football, when there's like a stop, they play like a certain type of music, or if it's third down, they play music and they get everybody kind of.
So you're saying they should play the music during the action?
I want to no. What I mean is they don't have to play the music during the action. The crowd like getting in, like doing like cheers on their own, where they're not using the cheerleaders to get them to say go Bama or go Auburn or War Eagle.
They do
I
that.
want to see people constantly moving and bouncing and cheering like they do in soccer, man. That would be cool in basketball. That'd be a huge factor in basketball if you're constantly doing the Cameron crazy stuff while you're singing some crazy song that you made up.
They do that in hockey some. They have those chants and things like that.
I love the soccer chants, man. They're great.
But again, I say that they do that in soccer because there's just not a hell of a lot of action going on.
It's just hanging out.
Yeah, they're hanging out. You know what I mean?
Drunk,
they do it to do
soccer.
that. That's one of the things that they need to do. So they do that because there's not a hell of a lot going on. I mean, they're ragging the ball around. But, I mean, you're talking about a sport that, look, and I'm not ragging on it because I'll get into the World Cup.
Yeah.
And so on. But the reality is you're going to get 2 or 3 shots on goal by each team per game. That's it. 2 or 3 shots. Yeah. They call shots anything that goes over the end line. They'll say a team had 8 shots in a game, and that would be like a big game. But they're not on goal.
Yeah, it could be like 5 feet from the goal. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything that goes over, wherever, it's like, oh, there's a shot, whereas in like hockey, when you have a hockey game and one team outshoots the other team by 35 to 32, those shots have to be on goal. Do you know that in hockey, if a shot hits a post, when they ring one off the post, that's not a shot on goal. It doesn't count as a shot on goal. It has to be a shot. You know what I mean? It has to be on goal. And in soccer, I mean, you literally will have games where you get 1 or 2 shots on goal per game. That's it. So you chant. So in the stands, you chant and cheer and sing and get drunk. And I mean, they're unruly on that thing.
Throw stuff at people, shoot flare guns.
You shouldn't shoot flare guns and throw stuff at people.
Hey, man, Man, that was a wild
behavior
game.
Is not acceptable.
I was afraid for my life leaving Stadio Olimpico back in 2010.
What'd you think about last night? I mean, that was pretty dramatic stuff last night. I mean, you got 2 more number ones going down. Gonzaga,
it was.
Continues to be an underachiever. I mean, I'm sorry. That's the way it is. They continue to be an underachiever.
I mean, the conference. I mean, I agree with Drew. What Drew said this morning. The conference they play in, the level of play. They stay that number one for a long time. They don't really get challenged like an Arkansas would get challenged and everything like that. You just kind of hope that Arkansas can continue to carry the mantle and keep the SEC on top right now.
Well,
so.
yes and no. I want to see Duke in the Final Four. I really want to.
I should have gone with Duke, man. I was either going to pick Duke or Kentucky, and I guess I should have just rode Duke for as long as I could because
I don't know why.
Man, my bracket would still be.
Yeah. All right, let's get a break. When we come back, Allan Bell Jr., CBS Sportsline. We're going to just take on all of this action. We'll do that next, right here, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Two Maids and a Mop. That's all you need to know to clean house. Two Maids and a Mop is an award-winning company, bonded and insured. Hire them for yourself, or they have gift cards if you want to make someone else's day. Find out more online at twomaidshuntsville.com. A maid service worth talking about. Two Maids and a Mop take care of everything. They supply all the cleaning equipment needed. Call 256-883-6243. The only finger you'll need to lift is the one to call them.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Heads up, sports bettors. Right now you can try VSiN All Access free for 30 days with no credit card required. Visit vsin.com/free month to sign up now.
Less than 2 weeks until the start of the Major League Baseball season. The Dodgers are the odds-on favorite to win the World Series at plus 450. The Blue Jays at plus 800. The Astros looking for their fourth American League pennant in 5 years. Third on the board at plus 950. The Sweet 16 continues tonight. St. Peter's, the 15th seed in the East region, a 12.5-point underdog against third-seeded Purdue. Later 8th-seeded North Carolina, a 2-point underdog against 4th-seeded UCLA. In the Midwest region, 4th-seeded Providence, plus 7.5 against top-ranked Kansas. And 11th-seeded Iowa State, a 2.5-point underdog against 10th-seeded Miami.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tired of the same old menu options everywhere you go? Then you need to try Metro Diner in Huntsville and Madison. The award-winning Metro Diner serves up signature dishes like their Charleston shrimp and grits, famous fried chicken and waffles with strawberry butter, and lots more. Their entire menu is available anytime, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And stop by for brunch on Saturday or Sunday and enjoy the lowest price mimosas in town. Airport Road, Huntsville, and Highway 72 in Madison. In diner or at home, make it Metro Diner.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend, parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now, and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
I love overpriced stuff. Avocados, designer t-shirts, artisanal water. That's why I get my internet from the other guys. Paying more for the same stuff. What could be better?
Wow is better. For just $19.99 a month, we give you the super fast, extra reliable internet you need. Act now before this deal is gone. Internet 100 for just $19.99 a month. Plus, learn how to get up to $300 on us. Sign up at Huawei.com. Wow. Limited to new customers with auto pay and paperless billing. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Offer subject to change. Restrictions and terms apply.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly to mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. Temperatures only climbing into the mid and upper 50s. Some of us could see 60 degrees, but that number is going to be hard to come by. An isolated shower certainly can't be ruled out, but at the end of the day, most of us going to stay dry. Temperatures dropping into the upper 30s and lower 40s as we head into the overnight, into the first half of your weekend. Plenty of sunshine through Saturday afternoon. Temperatures hanging out in the upper 50s and lower 60s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Local sports is covered right here.
Well, appreciate what you guys do for sports, but also for high school sports and taking time to talk to us. That means a lot, and appreciate what you guys do, and appreciate you having us on.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Friday, it's all football music. Segment of the show is brought to you by Valley Equipment Rental. Their new location on the North Memorial Parkway is open now. Check it out. Especially you contractors that are out there. They have moved some bigger equipment out there. They have got more equipment that is available to you. And, of course, you can rent out there as well as at the South Memorial Parkway location. Locally owned. Ross Roberts and his team. Locally owned. Local guys doing a great job, and gals doing a great job for us. And we love local. You know what I mean? I mean, we love local. And it's cool. I mean, when you got a guy that, went to Huntsville High, and you're talking to a guy that, that have been in the area their whole lives, it's really cool to be able to deal with those kind of people in business. And, of course, today is Friday. And that means that, look, it's a great weekend to get some work done around your property. And if you need a piece of equipment and you rent it after 2 o'clock this afternoon, it's not due back in until Monday. So you can get a lot done this weekend on your property. All right, we are efforting Allan Bell Jr. Coming up Stones right now, which means you get to come in on the radio show. It's football Friday, for God's sakes. You get to come in on the radio show. All right? Your phone number is 256-576-4977. That will get you in. 256-576-4977. You want to talk about the Sweet 16? You can do that. I am interested in this. With the SEC outside of Arkansas, I mean, think about it. We got Alabama fans, Auburn fans, Tennessee fans, Kentucky fans when it comes to basketball in this area for the most part, right? Georgia sucks. Forget about it. They're nowhere near the tournament. But we've got that corridor fan. Kentucky fans are everywhere. Tennessee fan, disappointment out of the tournament early. Auburn fan, disappointment out of the tournament early. Alabama fan, disappointment out of the tournament real early. Are you paying attention anymore? Do you care anymore about the Sweet 16 and about the tournament? Are you enough of a basketball fan to care about Duke and Coach K now in the Elite Eight, possibly going to the Final Four? Or do you not even care anymore? If you want to react to that, you can do that. The NFL has their new rules proposals on the table. Every year at this point in time, there's a bunch of rules proposals that get made by different teams. They throw out these rule proposals, and then coming up at the spring meetings in May? I think it's May. They go ahead and vote on this stuff. And to change something in the NFL, you have to have 24%, or 24, I should say. You got to have 2/3. 24 of the 32 owners have to agree to it. There's a lot of talk about overtime. They're trying to figure out what to do with overtime. And the headline at Pro Football Talk is NFL sees momentum for changing overtime rules, but no consensus on how to do it. I don't understand why this is so difficult. I don't get why this is so hard. All you have to do is say both teams get one possession, minimum of one possession. In other words, eliminate if you score a touchdown on your first possession, that the game is over. Just eliminate that. And eliminate any extra points in overtime. So in other words, if you go down and score a touchdown in overtime, you have to go for 2. And you have to kick off. And you have to defend one series. You have to defend one time. Why is that so hard? It's that easy. Now, the Titans' proposal for overtime was this, Grizz, is that you would, if you score a touchdown, you have to go for 2, and if you go for 2 and it's successful, the game is over. If you get the ball, score a touchdown, go for 2, if it's successful, the game is over. So they're adding a caveat to it not being just score a touchdown, score a touchdown and go for 2. But my point is this, why are we complicating this? Why can't it be so simple as to say, if you win the coin toss and you score a touchdown, you have to go for 2 and then you have to kick off? What the hell? Why is it?
I mean,
doesn't it seem to make the most sense? If you kick a field goal, you have to kick off and defend, right?
Yeah.
If you score a touchdown, you got to go for 2 and then you got to kick off.
Well, I mean, why don't we just not even have to go for 2? Why don't you just either kick an extra point or make the 2, kick off, and then have to defend? I mean,
I think
it just makes sense.
I think you say go for 2 because going for 2 is harder.
Yeah.
So you don't want to just kick an extra point if they don't want the game, more of a chance. This way, the only way the overtime is extended, now the other team has to score a touchdown and they have to convert a 2-point conversion. You know what I mean? So I get that. I'm okay with that. It seems like it would make the most sense. Now, what I'm not okay with is what the USFL is doing for their overtime. And remember, Mike Pereira, longtime head of officials for NFL, after being a longtime official, and Fox's, official guru on their broadcast, he's the rules guy. Now, I'm sure he had some input, but for the most part, these are Mike Pereira rules. These are things he'd like to see. This is overtime in the USFL. This isn't a proposal. This is overtime in the USFL. A best-of-3 play shootout. Each team's offense will alternate plays against the opposing defense from the 2-yard line. Each successful scoring attempt receives 2 points. In other words, 2-point conversion attempts. The team with the most points after 3 plays wins. The subsequent attempts become sudden death if the score is tied after each team runs 3 plays. And the overtime period extends until the winner is declared. It's a shootout. In hockey, they have the shootout, right? But they only do that after 5 minutes of 3-on-3, glorious 3-on-3 hockey. So what they're saying is, all right, the game is tied. We're going to put the ball in a 2, and we're going to do 2-point conversion. And they're going to alternate. I go for 2, you stop me. You go for 2, you get it, you got 2 points. I go for 2, I get it, I got 2 points. You go for 2, you get it, you got 4 points. It's a shootout of 2-point conversions, best of 3. I don't like it. It's free throws to determine the final of a football game. You battle for 60 minutes over 100 yards. 60 minutes over 100 yards. And then you're going to decide it based on free throws? I don't like it, Chris. It's simple.
No, yeah, it does make sense. No, I don't like it either.
I don't like the college one. I don't like putting the ball to 25. I think you should have to. I don't think you should be in scoring position in anybody's overtime. I don't think you should start in scoring position. If college wants to do this deal where you don't have any kickoffs and you're going to put the ball down at the 40, or midfield. Put it at midfield, and you got to gain a couple of first downs before you can even kick a field goal. Do something like that. I don't like the college overtime. I don't like the high school overtime. What do they put in high school? The 10-yard line, 15-yard line, something like that in high school. Come on, Grizz, you go to a lot of high school games. In Tennessee, it's the 10.
For overtime?
Yes. What do they do for overtime in Alabama? In Tennessee, they put the ball at the 10-yard line.
To be honest with you.
Yeah, in Tennessee, they put it at the 10. I don't like it. And in the NFL, and in any pro football, hell, in college, I think you have a coin toss. The team that wins the coin toss has a choice of receiver kickoff. The first team that possesses the ball, if they go down and score, you got to kick off to the other team. You stop them, game over. They score, we're still tied, do kickoff.
It's at the 10 for Alabama.
Alabama's at the 10 too?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What happened to Keith? We lose Keith, or is he back?
He's gone.
Was that Keith the Michigan fan, or just a random Keith?
That was Keith the Michigan. I'm pretty sure I typed that in.
Keith the Michigan fan, go ahead and get back in on that. If you want to jump in. But why is this so difficult? It just doesn't seem to be something that would be so hard to come up with a rule for this. Makes no sense. See what the NFL, what else is the NFL doing? Are they doing any other? No, that's a bylaw change. All right, so the NFL, pretty much that's it. That's pretty much all they're doing. Now, in the USFL, so the only issue for the NFL is overtime. Now, the other USFL rules are as such. All right, extra points, Grizz. 1 point for an extra point that is kicked from the.
Yeah, I saw this. Yeah,
ball is placed at the 15.
Right.
So it's the same as an NFL extra point. 2 point conversion from the 2-yard line, same as the NFL. 3 points for a. You have a 3-point conversion from the 10. I like this. This I like. What do you think?
I do. I do like it. I thought it was a nice little concept to add.
You're basically just adding a 3-point try.
Yeah, you're adding a 3-point try, and I think most teams, I bet, feel better to be able to move around and throw it from the 10-yard line rather than they're trying to, throw it, try to sneak something and throw it from the 2-yard line. Like I think,
a 9-point game is a 1-score game.
That too, yeah. That's and then now it's like, what is it? Like it's like an 18-point swing or something like that. Or 2-point game, 2-point or 2-score game.
Right.
So
18 points. It's a 2-score game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think. Look, from the 2-yard line,
right,
the running play is in play, not from the 10. For the, you know what I mean? It'd be very.
Oh yeah,
very
without
high.
a doubt, yeah.
That's the only thing that's not in play.
Unless
it's
like you're in gun and you just hand it off to the running back.
You're not gonna. Yeah, right. You go spread, run a sprint draw, quarterback draw.
When they're like in
could
third and long or whatever, yeah.
But for the most part, the running play is out of there. But I think other than that, I mean, what do you think? Converting from the 10 could be 40 to 50% conversion rate from the 10-yard line, which would be make it worth it to do it all the time. I mean, it would make it worth it. Here's the other thing: USFL is doing instant replay. Is from the command center in Los Angeles. All instant replay comes from one place instead of having a replay guy at the game
running all the way down the field.
One replay crew makes the decision. Period. It'll be faster. All right. Each coach is allowed just one replay challenge. One challenge. You don't need challenges because you got fast reviews and everything is being reviewed like college football. You got the thing being reviewed on a regular basis as they're watching the game. And here's another thing that they can review. The replay command center in the USFL will have the authority to override incorrect personal foul calls, including roughing the passer, hits on a defenseless player, face mask, horse collar, and more. The USFL Replay Command Center will be responsible for determining whether the act of pass interference is obviously intentional when it occurs 15 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. So their pass interference is like in college, unless it's intentional. Then it goes spot of the foul. In other words, if you just and you know what? I wish college did that. How many times do you see a guy beat 30 yards downfield in college? Just haul him down. Just haul him down, and it's a 15-yard penalty.
Yeah, no, that was everything in high school, 15 before 6. You get beat, you tackle the guy.
Yeah.
I'd rather see that in the pros. I hate the spot foul.
Well, wait a minute. You just contradicted your own self. Why do you hate the spot foul?
Because, I mean,
so you think you should haul a guy down if the guy's 25 yards downfield and beating him? You think it's fair to just haul a guy down and hold it to a 15-yard gain?
Yeah. I like the college rule.
Why?
I hate the
college rule.
Because it makes the cornerback more physical with their wide receiver. I would like to see more physicality.
So you think that it should be okay to tackle a guy 30 yards downfield?
Yeah. I mean, if you get beat, man, come on.
If you get beat, you're beat.
I mean,
if you get beat, you're beat. Why if you get beat, do you get if you get beat 30, if you get beat 30 yards downfield, if you get beat 30 yards downfield, you think it's fair for you to haul a guy down so that it's only a 15-yard gain?
Oh yeah.
Oh God.
Then why do they have it in college and in high school?
It's terrible, that rule. I think it's an awful rule. I think it's an awful rule
but
that you can completely haul a guy. There goes Jameson Williams. He just went right by the guy, haul his ass down. I mean, it's a terrible rule. There's the guy downfield. He's beat. He's 5 yards behind the defender. 5 yards behind the defender. Ball is in the air, and you could just nail him 40 yards downfield, nail the guy before the ball gets there so that it's a 15-yard penalty.
I'm fine with
I
that.
think it's the most unfair rule in all of sports that you can, by penalty, that you can reduce your exposure from a 30, 40, 50, 25, 20-yard gain to 15 by committing a foul. On what planet does committing a foul mitigate your issue? You know what I mean? Your problem. It's like if you've committed a crime, and for that crime, the minimum sentence is 2 years, unless you commit some other crime, and now it becomes a 8-month sentence. What the hell is that?
It makes sense at the end of the day, okay? For defensive coaches, I mean, if your guy gets burnt, you want to see it because you don't want to see the score. I mean, I obviously get that. I obviously see that it's a stupid rule. But, I mean, I still would love to see, more than just I would like to see 1 foot in college.
We have 1 foot in college.
Or I'm sorry.
In the pros?
In the
I
pros,
agree with
yeah.
that. I agree with.
Because there's been so many catches in the pros that, like, you would expect, there's been so many controversial calls. I mean, alone on that. I mean, Des Bryant was one of them, coming to the ground with a catch. I mean, there's been so many controversial calls. Like, I would love to see that rule change a little bit.
There's another college rule that I would like to see in the pros. I would like them to get rid of down by contact.
Yeah.
I think if your knee touches the ground, you're down. It would eliminate. There's so many times where it's like, wait a minute.
You don't know what's going on.
The guy. Yeah. He brushed him as he was going down.
He barely touched him.
Now he's down by contact, or he's not. Just look.
Barely touched his face mask or his helmet.
And you know what? They're all about player safety. Yeah. That would make things safer.
It would.
So in other words, you wouldn't have a guy catching a smash screen, and he puts a knee down, he catches a smash screen, gets back up, and 2 guys hammer him. You know what I mean? So if your knee touches the ground, you should be down. But the pass interference, oh, God. I think that one is awful. Kickoffs in the USFL. All kickoffs will be from the 25, not the 35. They're backing it up to the 25. No kicking team member can line up further back than 1 yard off of the kicking line, which is in the NFL now, right? So you don't get a run-up.
Right.
No run-up. The receiving team must have a minimum of 8 players in the setup zone. So 8 of the players got to be between the 35 and the 45-yard line. And after the ball travels 20 yards, so from the 25-yard line to the 45-yard line, your own 45-yard line, after a kickoff travels 20 yards, the first touch must be by the receiving team. And if an untouched kick becomes dead, in other words, if they don't, the ball belongs to the receiving team at that spot. So in other words, they kick off, they pooch kick it, the ball lands on their own 40 or 45-yard line. The other team, the kickoff team, cannot touch the ball. All right? The team that is receiving the kick can just let it die, and then you get the ball where the ball died. This will create more yet safer kickoff returns and increase the big play potential.
So it's kind of like a kickoff punt.
It's kind of, it's not quite like what the XFL
I mean, you run away from a punt, you don't even go near it, and it's not live, but you kick it off, it's live.
Right. Right, a little bit like that. That part of it, yes. But kicking off from their own 25 and bunching up all of the return guys between the 35 and the 45, that leaves more room. The kickoff return guy is going to catch the ball around the 10 or 12 yard line, and he's going to have some yards before. I mean, think about it. Those guys are running from 25 with no start. I mean, I think the average kickoff return in the XFL is going to come out to the 35 or 40-yard line. I think that's where it's going to be. Then on the onsides, you have two options. You can onside kick it. Nobody's ever going to want to do that because you're onside kicking from your own 25-yard line, right?
I never thought about that before. Yeah,
right. Onside kick from your own 20-yard line, and you got a 25-yard line, and you got no run up. Your other option will be 4th and 12 from your own 33. If you make a first down, you keep the ball. If you don't make the first down, the defense gets the ball right wherever you didn't get it. 1st and 12. I'm surprised they went with 1st and 12. In the Alliance, it was 1st and 15 from your own 35. They're going 1st and 12 from your own 33. So in other words, you got to make the 45-yard line for a first down. I love this as an option to onside kick. I would get rid of the onside kick altogether. In all of football. Get rid of the onside kick. I love the idea of you got the opportunity after you score to put the ball down on your own 33-yard line and have I would make it a little more than 1st and 12. I think 1st and 12 is not going to be real hard to get. One play, though. It's not 1st and, I mean, really, it's 4th and 12. Let me change it. It's 4th and 12. Not 1st and 12. It's 4th and 12. So, in other words, you get the ball at your own 33, 4th down and 12. I like that. Don't you like that?
Yeah, I would like that. Definitely for a team that's, obviously trying to come back and it would be, I think it would cause more into the game. You would be more into the game.
I like that one. And on punts, the gunners cannot line up outside the numbers and they cannot be double-teamed until the ball is kicked. So, in other words, you can't put two guys on the gunner. And the gunner has to be inside the numbers. I think that's good, too. The clock will stop for first downs inside of 2 minutes in the second and fourth quarter. I like that. Now, in college...
I saw that rule. I like that rule.
In college, it stops for first downs all the time. But in I like this, that in the last 2 minutes of a half, that the clock stops to move the chains. I like that. All right, let's get a break. We'll come back. Final segment. Get a call in on the other side as well. It's the Thom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hey, Bobby White from Woody Anderson Ford back again to talk to you about how easy it is to make a custom factory order. Just click WoodyAndersonFord.com, hit the top banner, then start making your selections. It's really simple, and you'll end up with the exact vehicle you want. Not only is there no extra charge to custom order, but at Woody Anderson Ford, we'll take 5% off MSRP on top of any additional factory rebates on the 2022 F-150, Bronco Sport, Explorer, Expedition, and Ranger. Another option for you is a certified pre-owned. We have over 100 Ford Blue Advantage certified pre-owned models to choose from. Our Ford Gold certified are low mileage, gently used with great warranties. They've passed a 175-point inspection by certified technicians and come with a 24-hour roadside assistance, plus a full tank of gas and a fresh oil change. Also, don't forget our service department is offering a free pickup and delivery when it's time for your next Ford service. Woody Anderson Ford, Jordan at Sparkman, hope to see you soon.
Thom Abraham here from my friend Ross Roberts and his team at Valley Equipment Rental. Coming in April, Valley will have a second location opening up on the North Parkway between Winchester Road and Bob Wade. They'll be offering bigger contractor-only type equipment, including 10K reach forklifts, 300 series track hose, and larger rollers and dozers, along with other equipment. Valley Equipment's 2 locations will better serve the region and allow them to grow their fleet. Valley Equipment Rental, locally owned for 10 years, where they put more care in every rental.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
If you work remote, Staples has you covered.
A mid-mod desk chair to rejuvenate my ho-hum workspace.
Staples has you covered.
A gaming chair for a serious competitor.
A super stylish desk that will save me space and money.
Staples has your remote workspace covered with functional furniture and organizational items curated by Staples Work From Home Style Squad. And this week, save up to $100 on select chairs. Explore solutions for your remote workspace at Staples, the working and learning store. Ends 3/26. Limit 2 in-store only.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list, and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
We cover all the SEC schools, including Western Union and Venmo.
I want that money!
You know, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Jumpy Ninja says Grizz has a point with all the lame PI calls in the NFL and getting a 30-yard gain for it. A combination of college and pro PI rules would be good. Intentional interference is a spot foul. Lame stuff is 15. Okay, I'm good with that. That's the USFL rule. I'm good with that if they changed it to that. Whereas, like in college and in high school, what it should be is that you're 40 yards, 30 yards downfield, and the feet get tangled, and they call interference, and that's too much of a penalty. It's like it's a 30-yard penalty just because you guys got hung up a little bit on each other, or it was a ticky-tack call. But it would require then another decision that they have to make now. Now they got to have it's another judgment call. Was it intentional or not? But intentionally hauling a guy down, we see that. We know what it looks like. Intentionally hauling a guy down should be a spot foul in college. That's the way it's going to be in the USFL. If it's a ticky-tack deal, it'll be 15 yards. If you haul the guy down to prevent the big gain, then it's going to be a spot foul. But, again, keep in mind, that is another decision that a referee has to make. Wolverine Dan is up. Wolverine Dan, welcome to the show. How are you?
Well, the traffic in Madison is ridiculous. That's all I got to say. But hey,
that's true. Yeah.
Dude, I'm like almost 50% done with the whole backyard brawl. I'm knocking it out.
Nice.
So that means football season. I'll be relaxed even before they kick the football. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yep, digging it, man. This is going to be a Shangri-La. You got to come by, man.
I got to come see it. Yeah, well, I got to come back.
The big shed, I got that almost done, and then I got the landscaping slate cobblestone walkway, man, from the driveway to the house. Really nice.
Now, did you do cobblestone or did you do brick?
No. It's a flagstone, like a flagstone.
Oh, flagstone. Okay, yeah. We're doing brick. We're going to do brick from the street to the house. But when you said cobblestone, that got me thinking about that. I'm going to suggest that to my wife.
Well, I
not
this
slate.
House, when I got this house, I tell you, Tom, I ain't never seen. He had stuff everywhere. I got supplies. I got landscaping supplies everywhere.
Nice.
And this guy just, didn't realize what he had. But I got an area where it's a big pile of landscaping stone, and you name it, I got it. So I'm going to implement it. I'm going to repurpose it, man. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
So anyway, to talk about last night, what you saw with Villanova is a fundamentals done to perfection. The coach is a good coach. He taught these guys how to pass, move the ball around, distribute it. and then drive to the lane. They were, by the time the third guy got the ball for Villanova, they drove the lane. They were so fast off the dribble, but they had a step already on us because they passed the ball extremely well. Well-coached team. I have nothing to be ashamed of. We were 7-14 going into the NCAA tournament, and I know I heard you mention that you didn't think Michigan should have been in the tournament. And with that record, yeah, I agree. But they did have a tough schedule, but look what they did, getting to the Sweet 16. So they weren't a slouch.
No. Well, and what ended up happening with thanks for the call, Wolverine Dan. That's a good job by you. What ends up happening with Michigan, this is a team that was in the top 5 at one point in time. They underachieved during the season. That's at the end of the day, that's what you look at. You say, well, here's a team that was 14-11, ends up in the Sweet 16. Why was this team 14-11? They underachieved all season long. That should have been a 20-win team. They underachieved. All right, coming up top of the hour, Brent Sobleski will join us from the Bleacher Report, allegedly. We'll see. As he is preparing his draft thoughts, who's going where, and we'll get a number of other thoughts in with him as well, right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com. Want to try something different for breakfast, lunch, or dinner? Then why not head on over to City Cafe Diner? They have the largest menu in the area with traditional breakfast like pancakes and omelets, comfort foods like burgers and shakes, and specialty items like homemade Greek delicacies. And their entire menu is served any time of day. So make plans to dine with City Cafe Diner today, just west of the Parkway at 2003 Drake Avenue. City Cafe Diner, where no one leaves hungry.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi with what you need to know. The Browns will introduce new quarterback Deshaun Watson today, one day after a second grand jury in Texas declined to indict him on charges of sexual misconduct. He currently faces 22 civil lawsuits alleging sexual misconduct. Live coverage of Watson's introductory news conference in Cleveland starts at 1 Eastern on ESPN TV and the ESPN app. More on this story throughout the day, of course, on ESPN Radio. Bears agreed on a 2-year contract with free agent quarterback Trevor Siemian. He'll likely compete with Nick Foles to be Justin Fields' backup. According to ESPN's Pete Thamel, former South Carolina coach Frank Martin's finalizing a deal to become the new basketball coach at UMass. From ESPN's Jeff Borzello, Murray State's in talks to bring back Steve Prohm as its next basketball coach. He previously coached the Racers from 2012 to 2015 before going to Iowa State.
All the press conferences.
It's our mental energy. I would say spend less time complaining about, when I was going to get an opportunity. Just spend more time training and working towards.
Plus, all of the rat poison is served up right here.
It's yummy.
On 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live, here he is, the big dog.
Let's go, baby.
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
Get off my lawn.
my Yankee ass out of here.
Now, welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Thom Abraham Show on a Football Friday in the Doghouse. So glad that you are with us today. This segment of the show brought to you by our good friends at Woody Anderson Ford. The service department at Woody Anderson Ford is second to none. And now's the time to get your spring service going. I know sometimes it doesn't feel like it, a little bit breezy out there today, but it is springtime now, and you want to get your rig ready to go for the warmer weather. Get it serviced at Woody Anderson Ford, Woody Anderson of Madison as well. Joining us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, a guy who's very busy with just a month to go now before the NFL draft, and you can't even hardly do a mock draft these days because picks are getting thrown around like they're pennies right now. Brent Sobleski joins us from the Bleacher Report on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Sobel, welcome back. How are you?
How are you doing, Tom? Has anything happened since last we spoke?
No, yeah, don't do a mock draft because somebody's trading a half a dozen picks in about 15 minutes. You know that's going to happen.
I've been in that situation. It's miserable, man. You're trying to run like a chicken with your head cut off just to fix it and to adjust. And the thing is, depending on the depth that you create within that mock draft, you have to make significant changes sometimes. So, for example, our last mock draft by Bleacher Report, we had 3 rounds deep. So if something happens in the first round, it's now adjusting second and third round selections as well. So, I know everyone out there listening doesn't care about the minutia of actually creating this content, but it's a big deal to the rest of us.
Yes, no, it is a big deal. I love mock drafts too, and it is a big deal, and it does change, what your team might be looking for, whatever your team is, and what is going on there, and. This all started obviously with the Deshaun Watson deal, and obviously it's a 2-part thing. Everybody has their opinion about the personal aspect of it. We saw another grand jury say, no, there's nothing criminal here. Guy's skeevy, there's no doubt about it, but so is Robert Kraft apparently, but I don't know what, the penalty ended up being against him. But there's that aspect of it, that part of it. Separating that, there's the football part of it. And that's what I want to talk about too, is the football part of it, because I thought, your next 3 first-round draft picks for anybody, plus a couple of more picks, for anybody, was a ridiculous price to pay. But some other people who I really respect their football opinions for said, you get a guy who's 26 years old that's just, moving up in his career, 3 first-round draft picks, you always take the known quantity over the draft picks. Did it seem awful pricey to you, regardless of the other stuff off the field? Did it seem pricey to you for a guy that's as a quarterback?
From a draft asset perspective, no, because I tend to agree. If you need a franchise quarterback, you spend whatever you can to get him from that perspective. From a contractual situation, that's a different conversation because we're talking $230 million fully guaranteed. That's not just what the Cleveland Browns are investing. That's resetting the market for how NFL approaches quarterbacks from now on. And so that's a significantly different conversation. But with the draft picks, considering Cleveland's history, and we know Baker Mayfield, we've discussed him at length over the years, and he was a good starting quarterback, but he never reached the echelon that he should have as a number 1 overall pick. Clearly, they wanted to upgrade the position. They did so. Now, there's a couple caveats there with Deshaun Watson. Obviously, you have to take into account he hasn't played football for a year, barely practiced. Number 2, he's going to a brand-new system he's never played in. 3, you have a bunch of new weapons around you as well that you have to adjust to. So this may not be a seamless transition, and that's not even mentioning whether the NFL is going to suspend him or not, which is still up in the air. So when you look at it, I think this could be a situation where Cleveland clearly upgraded from a talent perspective. They paid the price that it goes for a quarterback, especially a young quarterback, because they never become available at this age. But at the same time, there may be a bumpy transition, at least in year 1, as they figure everything out and get everything in line for what they're going to be with Watson as their starter moving forward.
They go with Jacoby Brissett as a backup and send Case Keenum for a low draft pick over to Buffalo. I thought when the move first went down, I thought, wow, he's going to be suspended for 4 to 6 games. But Case Keenum, he could get him to 4-2, 3-3, something like that, keep him in the conversation until he's ready to go. And then they shipped him off. Jacoby Brissett over Case Keenum, your thought on that? Can Jacoby Brissett, who's been a starter, Can he kind of keep the ship going there if that ends up being the case?
I believe so. And if you look at Case Keenum, I think that decision to make that swap has really comes down to two factors. One, money. When you look at Case Keenum, he was due a little over $8 million this year. So when you compare that to what they signed Brissett, which was 4.6 or so, obviously you're creating a little bit of salary cap space while not necessarily downgrading, depending on how you look at those two backup quarterbacks and their overall utilization. The second point I bring up is clearly with Watson and now with Brissett, both your starter and your backup are significantly more athletic than what you had at the position. Not saying that Baker Mayfield and Case Keenum couldn't operate within the system. Clearly they could, but you can expand the offense to a degree. I'm not saying Kevin Stefanski is going to change significantly what he does, but when you add in that element of increased athleticism, you can do a little more with pocket movement, with bootlegs, and so on and so forth.
And so that brings us to Baker Mayfield, the little girl with the curl here. All of this, stuff now coming out that he's petulant. Where are all the players, voicing their outrage, former, current Brown players, and you're not seeing a lot of that. But certainly he seems like a guy that could help people. I ran a poll question right after all this went down for Tennessee Titan fans, and it got a lot of response, and it ran slightly 50% for Baker Mayfield. The question was, would you trade for Baker Mayfield? Even if it were a scenario where he was going to be backing up Ryan Tannehill for a year, would you trade for Baker Mayfield over Ryan Tannehill right now if you're the Tennessee Titans? And it was, just over 50% yes. Is it the contract, the $18 million that he is owed, is it the contract that's holding up him being traded, or is it really just a guy that nobody seems to want?
I think it's a combination of factors. I think both sides of this have handled it very poorly, and by both sides, I mean both Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns and how they went about this entire setup. Obviously, both kind of had egg on their face when it was all said and done because of what became public, what things were said, kind of got nasty, and that's just the wrong way to go about this if you plan to eventually trade this or request a trade, because all it does is take away your leverage. And that's exactly what's happened with the Cleveland Browns and Baker Mayfield. It's not that other teams around the league wouldn't want him. It's the fact that Cleveland has no leverage, and most of the musical chairs have been filled already. And so you don't have many people bidding for his services based on the fact that they don't need to. They don't necessarily have to jump into an $18 million contract automatically. They don't have to surrender a first or second round pick, which is what Cleveland would prefer to get for Baker Mayfield. So all that leverage that could have been there when this all began blew up in smoke because of the adult comment that came from within the Cleveland Browns organization, because of Baker Mayfield being petulant publicly. These things blew up in their faces, and now they have to wait it out because there aren't very many options when it's all said and done. Either he's going to go a team, as you stated, like the Tennessee Titans, as an example, where he would be the clear backup and a potential future starter, or maybe Seattle finally makes a play for him. That's where I heard, dating back to the Combine, there was potential interest. Now, I know Baker said he wanted to go to Indianapolis, or at least made that public. Now, granted, Indianapolis wasn't making a move for Baker Mayfield. Matt Ryan was perfect for them, and that's the type of quarterback they wanted for that position. But it made sense for him to play behind a great O-line with the best running back in football and a defensive flies all over the place. Now, beggars can't be choosers, and really the only starting spot, if they're willing to make a move, is with the Seattle Seahawks.
They can't afford to take the chance of cutting him, though, right? I mean, if they cut him because they picked up the fifth year of the contract, does that $18 million stay on the cap? And two, if they cut him, I mean, what do you make of these rumors that the Steelers would jump all over him, even though they got Mitch Trubisky? I mean, I think Baker Mayfield's better than Mitch Trubisky. You can't take the chance of cutting him. What are their options? I mean, you can't just hang on to him and pay him and not activate him. I mean, what do you do?
Well, right now you just hold fast because you don't have any other option. Once that fifth year option kicks into gear, it's $18 million plus guaranteed. Period. So unless you trade him, that's on your books this year. So whether you cut him, whether you keep him, you owe him $18 million. Now, if you can move him, that's a different matter altogether. So in that case, maybe he becomes a insurance plan, for lack of a better term, because you don't know what's going to happen with Deshaun Watson, because you already have him on your books at the moment.
Wouldn't that be something if Baker Mayfield started the season as the Browns? He wouldn't show up, right? I mean, if it gets announced that Watson's going to be suspended for 6 games, and Baker Mayfield, the Browns don't cut him, he's going to get $18 million. He doesn't get the money if he doesn't show up himself, so he would be costing himself the money. I mean, does Baker Mayfield show up at training camp? I mean,
if you ask me personally, if I'm his agent, I send him. I tell him, go there, compete.
Go get your money.
Be a professional. Go get your money and prove to people that you can be, quote unquote, an adult, that you can keep your mouth shut, that you can be a professional, and when an injury inevitably occurs, there will be an open seat for you. But obviously we have a few months before we can even get to that range, and essentially it comes down to what are the Cleveland Browns willing to accept in return. Obviously they haven't gotten anything that they felt they need to move him, at least from overtures from other teams. Maybe they have to acquiesce and just simply take what they can get and move on. To me, that's the optimal situation for both parties.
Brent Sobleski with us here. You mentioned the Matt Ryan trade. Marcus Mariota, who I like Marcus Mariota. I mean, I'm not from a personal standpoint. I think he's an upstanding guy. I like the guy. I'm pulling for him. But it does feel like a stopgap. And again, I think Baker Mayfield would be a better choice for the Atlanta Falcons than Marcus Mariota. They gave him $18 million for 2 years as opposed to Mayfield's $18 million contract for 1 year. But what about assess Mariota? Can he rejuvenate his career? Can he have a Rich Gannon rejuvenation of the second half of his career in Atlanta? Or is this just strictly you got to have somebody taking snaps until they figure something out?
Well, it's kind of funny. When we saw what happened publicly with the Browns and Baker Mayfield, Mayfield was lambasted publicly because of him putting out the letter, because of all of it turning ugly quickly. And what did you hear at that time, Tom? Well, I don't hear Matt Ryan complaining.
Right.
Guess what? He wasn't happy either that the Falcons were chasing Deshaun Watson and ultimately got moved shortly thereafter. So you go have different approaches, but it's essentially the same setup. So when I look at Matt Ryan with the Colts, I think that puts them in very much the conversation for the AFC South. But looking at the Atlanta Falcons on paper, that may be the worst roster in the NFL. I'm not trying to.
Yeah, they're on the clock. They're on the clock for 2023 right now. I said it already. They're in the number. They right now are on the clock for the first pick in the 2023 draft. The only problem is I don't know where these quarterbacks are coming from. You're analyzing them. I don't like this year's quarterback class. I don't like next year's quarterback class. I don't know where the next wave of where the Justin Herberts are or those kind of guys, where the next wave of quality Joe Burrow type starters are coming out of college.
Well, let's not forget, Burrow wasn't Joe Burrow until his final year on campus.
That's true.
Right? Kyler Murray wasn't Kyler Murray to his final year on campus. I used to use Baker Mayfield next conversation, but I can't now at this juncture. But you're right. And I think the biggest mistake the Falcons made, and I will say this publicly, I love Kyle Pitts as a player. I think he's the best tight end prospect I've ever seen. He was just an absolute unicorn. He was phenomenal as a rookie. He was the wrong choice for the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
You passed on Justin Fields and Mac Jones, knowing full well that you were trying to kick the can down the road with Matt Ryan's contract and that he was going to be 37, going on 38 years old, and not preparing at the game's most important position with legitimate talent in last year's draft. Now you're in a situation where, what is the 8th overall pick? I'm trying to go through my head real quick.
Yeah.
But either way, if you're looking at Willis or Kenny Pickett or Desmond Ridder or whichever quarterback you like, none of these guys stack up to last year's crop, and you may be forced to take one anyways because you need to prepare for the future. If you don't prepare for the future now you're a year further behind. Maybe you're in next year's class and you're once again in a situation, as Tom well stated, that you're not comfortable with any of those quarterbacks. They are now stuck in this vortex, and I don't know how they get out of it because you may have to force your hand at the game's most important position because you have no better option since you passed on the better option last year.
how concerning is Kenny Pickett's Donald Trump hands? He'll have the smallest hands of any quarterback in the NFL once he gets drafted. He did fumble the ball a lot, at Pitt, so there was that. Is this actually going to cost him some positions in the draft? And on the flip side of that, also work into Malik Willis. I mean, the guy he is certainly a workout warrior, looks fantastic, played well, but is he Dwayne Haskins, or is he somebody that can go on and play and be good?
Well, situation matters, right? How many times you've heard me say that, Tom?
Yeah, right.
Probably hundreds of times at this juncture. Let's start with Malik Willis, because he's more likely to be drafted higher throughout the entire process. Now, I will say this. This is the way I evaluate Malik Willis. From a physical, natural tools perspective, he is easily a first-round quarterback. From the ability to play the position based on what was asked of him at the collegiate level, he's a late-round draft pick. So when you consider that, and the raw potential that you're essentially investing that high in the draft, you have to understand that he's so much further behind on the developmental curve than other quarterback prospects we've seen in recent memory. And it's not necessarily a slight against Malik Willis. When you look at Liberty and you look at Hugh Freeze's offense, it's very simplistic. There's very few NFL caliber reads or throws that he's being asked to make. He's slow with his eyes. He's not making the best decisions. The Ole Miss tape this past year, which is the best competition he faced, was one of the worst tapes I've ever seen from a supposed top quarterback prospect. Again, the ability is there. You have the raw tools to mold into something special. But what I will say about his standing right now is it feels like an overcorrection based on people getting Josh Allen wrong. And because of that, he's going to be drafted much higher than we would typically see in a quarterback with his type of pedigree. And teams will hope that they can place him in a situation where it can take time and he can develop properly. Pickett is on the opposite end of the spectrum. Pickett doesn't have the outstanding physical tools. You mentioned his hands. I'm not as concerned with his hands, because you can teach a quarterback how to hold the ball high in the pocket with two hands until he releases. But you can't overlook the fact he has 38 fumbles throughout his Pitt career. Can't overlook the fact that smallest hands in the NFL day one. Can't overlook the fact he'll be 24 years old before he ever takes an NFL snap that counts. And he is a marginal physical talent. So these are two of the top guys we're talking about in this year's class. It just goes to show how desperate the NFL is for quarterbacks when these are your best options. Although I will say, and because I have to, I think I'm legally obligated as part of the Bleacher Report scouting department. Our QB1 is Desmond Ridder from Cincinnati. He doesn't get the depth that the other two do, and it blows my mind.
Yeah, Ridder will be a very interesting one, too. I agree with you on him. The other guy is the other guy that was in that game. I'm with you, by the way. I thought Malik Willis against Ole Miss, and Ole Miss was like number 16 at the time when they played. I thought that was scary. I mean, he was awful in that game, 3 interceptions, and that would give me great pause. The kid on the other side looked like much better quarterback to me, Matt Corral, who threw for 324 yards in that game and had a high completion percentage. I like Matt Corral. I've seen him associated with the Atlanta Falcons with a late-round draft pick. What do you think about Matt Corral?
Well, ironically, I think there's some correlation between Willis and Corral, not as body types, not as skill sets, but based on what was asked of them. So once again, if you look at, in this case, Lane Kiffin's offense, very quarterback-friendly. I believe the number was 38% of last year's Rebels' offensive snaps were run-pass options, right? That is very different than what's going to be asked of you at the NFL level. And Corral executed very, very well. But what is he going to do when you put him into full read progressions? How is he going to react when he's dealing in a pocket where you have NFL men swarming around your feet because he's had trouble with feeling pressure at certain times? There's obviously questions about his frame, which have been answered to a degree during this pre-draft process, coming in at around 6'2", 215-ish pounds, so he's a little more stout than people expected. I thought he threw well at his pro day. He's got that dart-like release that just comes out with velocity, very quick, snaps it off like that. So I think there's potential there. But again, those question marks, every single quarterback prospect we talking about in this class, you can point to things you like, but there's also significant question marks about their skill sets and how it's going to translate to the next level.
Yeah. And finally, the Miami Dolphins made their big play to get Tyreek Hill, who was Jalen Waddle before Jalen Waddle was Jalen Waddle. In this case, I mean, the first 3 picks in this draft and then some other draft equity, 5 picks altogether, that to me, and I love it for Tua, and he's going to have a great opportunity here. I love it for, Mike McDaniel and that offense. I love the pickup of Armstead. If he could stay healthy, he doesn't give up any sacks at left tackle. But, man, that seems like a lot to pay for a wide receiver who's approaching 30 years old, who has got to have his best years behind him. Not that he can't be good for a year or two, but his best years got to be behind him. That seemed rich to me. What do you think about the Dolphins just throwing 5 draft picks out there for Tyreek Hill?
Let me say this about this offseason, and you know how I feel about this personally, Tom, so I'm going to say it publicly. It's been a weird offseason. The fact that we gave Ben Roethlisberger a fond farewell, Deshaun Watson got the highest guaranteed contract in NFL history while still being investigated for 22 civil lawsuits. Then you have Tyreek Hill traded and become the highest paid wide receiver ever, despite his history. That's a banner offseason, and it can be. I'm not chuckling at what they did. I'm chuckling at how the NFL handles themselves and how that it's handled publicly by those of us that cover the league, and it bothers me tremendously. Now, with that said, with Tyreek Hill, I cannot deny his capabilities on the field. He is the fastest wide receiver in NFL, a true game changer that basically every single team, when they try to defend him, changes what they do because they can't run with him. They can't lock him down like other wide receivers. And when you send him to the Miami Dolphins under Mike McDaniel, new head coach, we have to remember McDaniel's bringing in the Shanahan system. The Shanahan system over a long period of time isn't just beneficial to whatever running back you plug in the system. It's also beneficial to the X receiver in that system, whether we're going back to Andre Johnson with the Houston Texans, Julio Jones with the Atlanta Falcons, Deebo Samuel with the San Francisco 49ers. Imagine that type of usage for Tyreek Hill. He was never quite that guy in Kansas City because, let's be real, the number one target in Kansas City's offense has always been Travis Kelce. If you start using him like a Deebo Samuel in that scheme, yes, he's older, and yes, you gave up a lot, but the value of what he brings to the offense could be just immense. And to get them off the ground and finally get Tua Tagovailoa's career off the ground and playing like the type of quarterback he can potentially be.
Mike Florio just posted an article while we were talking. Headline, the Browns may have to eventually cut Baker Mayfield and watch him land in Pittsburgh. That ain't going to happen. It's just absolutely ridiculous. He says that Pittsburgh would sign him for the league minimum $1.35 million, $1.035 million, and Cleveland would have to pay the balance of the $17 million CBO. That's crap. If that's going to happen, if they're only going to save $1 million, you don't cut them. That would be ridiculous. They're not.
You know what? I could actually see that happening just out of spite.
Oh, God, what a nightmare that would be. Oh, what a friggin' nightmare. And would there be, first of all, those games would have to be later in the year because they would want to make sure that Deshaun Watson was playing, and they would be the biggest prime time. Can you imagine the Browns and the Steelers, Deshaun Watson against Baker Mayfield? It would be colossal, but I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand to see it. It would wreck my heart. I don't know if I could live through that.
Hey, despite everything and all my public proclamations, one thing we can't say about the NFL isn't that it's always entertaining, right?
It is.
No matter what's going on or what you're doing, there's always something newsworthy to discuss, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, and with some of the activities that some of the owners have done over the years, I just have bristled a little bit at everybody's holier than thou attitude because I still can't find what kind of punishment from the league Robert Kraft got for the video of the stuff that he was doing, in a massage parlor. All I see when I look at it, I spent 15 minutes on the internet looking for what the result was. I know that the court cases and see all of that, but I never saw what the league did. Do you know off the top of your head, did he get $1 million fine? Did he get suspended for a year by Robert Goodell? What happened after Goodell said, everybody is subject to the same personal conduct policy. I don't know if anything happened.
There was a fine. I do know that explicitly. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. Yeah. And I want to say there was a slight type of suspension where he wasn't allowed being for a team for a certain amount of time. But right off the top of my head, I can't remember. But like when I look at Watson, the situation I always compare it to is Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
And people are like, Deshaun Watson was never found guilty. Well, neither was Ben Roethlisberger. But he still got 10 games that was eventually reduced to 6. So if they're going to go by previous precedent, which the NFL is never consistent in this stuff, but just if they were, that's probably the case that we would have to look to see what to expect this coming season.
Yeah, and the charge against Roethlisberger twice was rape, and that's none of these charges have been that against Watson, just being a scummy. All right, well, good stuff. We're following you on the Bleacher Report. A lot of ground we covered there with Brent Sobleski. Sobel, I appreciate you so much. And when does the next mock come out for you guys? Because the dust has to be settling here. We're only a month out from this draft. When are we going to see the next mock from the Bleacher Report?
I write both our new big board coming out of the Combine and Pro Days and mock draft next week. Okay. So I believe it's the beginning of the following week to look for.
Beautiful. All right, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Have a good one.
All right, thank you. The half an hour with Brent Sobleski. Half an hour with Brent Sobleski. There you go. All right, phone lines go open the rest of the way. I have got a baseball-related story that you won't believe. And I'll try to get that in there, and I'll take your phone calls. Open lines the rest of the way. Go ahead. It's a Football Friday. So jump in, 256-576-4977 on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Heads up, sports bettors. Right now you can try VSiN All Access free for 30 days with no credit card required. Visit vsin.com/free month to sign up now.
The Sweet 16 continues tonight. St. Peter's, the 15th seed in the East region, a 12.5-point underdog against 3rd-seeded Purdue. Later 8th-seeded North Carolina, a 2-point underdog against 4th-seeded UCLA. In the Midwest region, 4th-seeded Providence, plus 7.5 against top-ranked Kansas, and 11th-seeded Iowa State, a 2.5-point underdog against 10th-seeded Miami. Less than 2 weeks until the start of the Major League Baseball season. The Dodgers are the odds-on favorite to win the World Series at plus 450. The Blue Jays at plus 800. The Astros looking for their 4th American League pennant in 5 years, 3rd on the board at plus 950.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
If you work remote, Staples has you covered.
A mid-mod desk chair to rejuvenate my ho-hum workspace.
Staples has you covered.
A gaming chair for a serious competitor.
A super stylish desk that will save me space and money.
Staples has your remote workspace covered with functional furniture and organizational items curated by Staples Work From Home Style Squad. And this week, save up to $100 on select chairs. Explore solutions for your remote workspace at Staples. The Working and Learning Store. Ends 3/26. Limit 2. In-store only.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
This is Wes Neighbors with Phillip with Eagle Insulation, and we have an announcement to make.
Yes, Wes, we are now
Eagle Masonry and Insulation. We're still a place to call for your installation needs, but now we offer masonry services.
What kind of masonry projects can you handle?
Wes, no job is too big, no job is too small. We can do renovations, new construction, outdoor fireplaces, fire pits, brick landscape borders.
Well, when you came out to my house, you did both the insulation and masonry at the same time. You guys did rock for me, you did brick for me, and you insulated my house. That's usually done at the same time that you're building a house.
Absolutely. It really capitalizes on two services you need at the same time, and you can get one company to handle both of those.
Philip with Eagle Insulation will come out, do your installation. He'll do your masonry. They do a great job. They guarantee your work. Check out more online at insulatedwitheagle.com and schedule your free examination today. 256-755-1556.
Thanks, Wes.
The PGA Tour's Korn Ferry Tour is coming to the Rocket City. Join us at the Ledges for the inaugural Huntsville Championship, April 29th through May 2nd. Experience the beauty and drama of the course firsthand. Witness golf's rising stars chase their PGA Tour dreams. Cheer on the future of golf up close and personal. Tickets are on sale now at HuntsvilleChampionship.com.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly to mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. Temperatures only climbing into the mid and upper 50s. Some of us could see 60 degrees, but that number is going to be hard to come by. An isolated shower certainly can't be ruled out, but at the end of the day, most of us going to stay dry. Temperatures dropping into the upper 30s and lower 40s as we head into the overnight, into the first half of your weekend. Plenty of sunshine through Saturday afternoon. Temperatures hanging out in the upper 50s and lower 60s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
When we say local, we mean local, not Birmingham.
Loser.
We are the only sports talk station in Huntsville. It's all right here. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You've got a magical glow.
Welcome back to Thom Abraham Show. Football Friday in the Doghouse. Phone lines are open if you want to get in now. You can do it at 256-5764-97.7. This segment of the show is brought to you by North Alabama Mortgage. Brian Hammaker and his group standing by to make sure that you are in the right product. They're going to get you into the right product at North Alabama Mortgage for your mortgage, whether it's a refinance or whether it is a new purchase. They'll do conventional, VH, FHA, USDA loans. They do it all. And look, the reason they're so successful at North Alabama Mortgage, and by the way, they're serving all of Alabama, Florida, and Tennessee. The reason they're so successful is because they treat their clients like family. And I can tell you this firsthand. And again, I became a client after they became an advertiser. This isn't one of those deals where like, oh, yeah, dog, this is your mortgage guy, and you're saying that because he's your mortgage guy. No, it's the other way around. They became a client and began advertising with the radio station, and in fact started with the our Army coverage because they have a heart for the veterans. They're VA specialists. They work hard for the veterans. The relationship all started through Crawdad. It was Crawdaddy that got this thing started for me. And when I met Brian, it was like, wait a minute. Brian Hammaker, we both fished the Bassmaster Opens. And it turned out that we know all the same people. We fish the same tournaments. He's probably fishing at Cherokee next week up there and the other side of Knoxville in the Bassmaster Open. And we work in the same circles. And so but the original introduction was made by Crawdad. So then when I decided to do the refi of the house, when we wanted to do the renovation of our kitchen, which is now done and absolutely beautiful, that's when I became a client of North Alabama Mortgage. I wouldn't have used them if I wasn't, confident that they would do that kind of work for us. So they can do it for you as well. All right, phone lines are open, 256-576-4977. We had Guntersville State Park on deals this morning, Grizz, and
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, they sold out in like 3 minutes? Is that right? I mean, these deals that we put up are fantastic deals. I'm almost concerned. This one went so fast that I'm almost concerned that there was some kind of a misprint in there or something. I mean, we didn't sell them for $9.50, right? They were $95 is what they cost.
Yeah.
And I was like, did something bad happen here? Or is it just?
Yeah, it didn't take long. It was like 5-10 minutes.
It's the power of our fantastic listeners recognizing a great deal when they can get one. So Guntersville State Park, it's absolutely beautiful up there. People want to get out again. People want to get out. They want to take advantage of the great weather, and they want to take advantage of the fact that they've been cooped up for 2 years. So to those of you that bought the lodge at Guntersville State Park, the Cliffside room and a $30 voucher to the Pinecrest room, congratulations. You got a highly sought-after deal, $190 value for just $95.
That's a great thing.
That's a
continue to support the local businesses as well as we keep coming out with more and more and more, because that's what it's about, trying to help the local business around here, and a lot of great people that you meet over the times that you're trying to do this for them.
We got Gibson's Barbecue coming up on April the 8th. Okay, yes. April the 8th, not next Friday, the following Friday. We'll have Gibson's Barbecue coming up, and that's always a very, very popular deal. You just need to mark this down on your calendar, people, so that you know what's going on with this deal. Check this out, Grizz.
What's up?
This is crazy. Okay, how nuts is this baseball story? There was a woman in Boston who had a 10-game season ticket package to the Red Sox. She was informed via an email that one of the games in her 10-game plan that she had already paid for, she paid in advance for the 10-game ticket season plan. It was a game against the lowly Baltimore Orioles. It was originally scheduled for the first week of April. It was originally scheduled for the first week of the season in April. But now, since the game was moved and rescheduled to May 28th, it was a higher premium, and that she owed more money for her tickets.
Aww.
Wait a minute now. The game was moved because of the lockout. The game was moved because of the owners, the millionaires, and the billionaires were fighting over how they were going to whack up our money. And so the game didn't get played as scheduled this first week of April. They moved it to May 28th, and they told her that's a more desirable time of year. And the game was moved to a Saturday, and it's more advantageous to go to a game on a Saturday night than it is to go to a game on a Sunday. And you owe us money for that game. You owe us more money for the tickets for that game.
That makes no sense. That's messed up.
Freaking kidding me?
That's so messed up.
I mean, you got to be kidding me. She said, quote, "I don't think that I should have to pay more to attend a game that was rescheduled due to their decision and their actions. If a game gets rained out, the original ticket is honored. So why is this any different?" Now, a guy who got the same email said, hey, look, it said in the email, basically, he was paraphrasing, hey, look, sorry, the game is in May now instead of April. So it's warmer and it's more advantageous. So that game is worth, May games we charge more than we charge for April games. And the guy said, well, if that's the case, maybe the World Series games should be cheaper since they're in October.
Boom. That makes sense. I mean,
that's...
And another thing, too, like, I've noticed that, too, is, like, obviously the division games are differently priced. If they're playing an opponent that's not very good,
they should pay you to come to the Baltimore Oriole game.
They
should be like
cheaper. I mean, like, I know that, like, it's crazy because it's like how the Falcons work. I mean, when they played the Cowboys, I mean, those were the most expensive tickets I saw. It just depends on.
Yeah, but not on the regular, just on the resale market, right? Not on the. I don't think the NFL changes it.
I don't know about the the resale, yeah.
But you're right. I think in baseball and in others, they're like, if it's the Yankees are coming in, you pay. It's a different thing for that than it will be for other games, and that's just heinous.
That's messed up. That's just messed up. That you're telling me that one different game, and like you said, the rain out game. And I kind of get it where, it's more favorable because it's warmer and everything like that. But have you ever been to a baseball game at Truist Field when it's absolutely hot outside? I don't even want to sit in my spot because there's no shade, and I usually end up walking around the stadium anyway.
Just to get out of the heat.
Just to get out of the heat, yeah. So, I mean, that alone is miserable. That should be cheaper. I mean, having to sit in a 9 or 10 inning game, or 9 inning game, but a 10, 11 inning game, and it just being like 110.
Grizz, which of the games tonight, St. Peter's, the darling 15 seed out of New Jersey, taking on Purdue, that's the first game.
Yeah.
Providence, Kansas, number 4 seed Providence, number 1 seed Kansas. See if we can get rid of all of the 1 seeds. Or 8:39 tonight, North Carolina and UCLA. That is sports eye candy. All right? Assuming that they both wear their proper uniforms, North Carolina, UCLA is sports eye candy.
North Carolina, UCLA, like you said. I mean, it's just the most intriguing game. It's these top 2-tier programs in college basketball, and I think that, or historic programs, let alone.
Historically, yeah.
I can see Kansas beating Providence. I don't see St. Peter's making a run on Purdue, and I say that Miami-Iowa State game is very intriguing. The way that Miami was able to beat Auburn, and if Miami can make a run, but I think the most intrigue and the better matchup right here, and the most eyes will be on UNC and
UNC UCLA will get them because we're getting closer. We'd be one step closer to Carolina and Duke in a national semifinal. And now that Arkansas took out Gonzaga, I mean, Duke is going to be a 3 or 4 point favorite against Arkansas. I
think.
Would
you watch the North Carolina UCLA game if it had the 8:59 mark or time?
If it was
the late game,
if it was the latest
if it was the latest one. Do you think that matters?
I don't think it matters. I mean, it's only 20 minutes different. I don't think it matters. They are the more featured games because remember, across the country.
Yeah.
Right, that's the other part of it. It's across the country, but that's in Philadelphia. They're not going to put that game. That would be 9:59 in Philly.
Right.
Now, it's bad enough. I mean, the Iowa State-Miami game is Chicago, right? Yeah. So that means that it's 9:59 Eastern. So that's 8:59, 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock Central Time in Chicago tonight. 9 o'clock Central Time. So, I mean, it's bad enough. It's the North Carolina UCLA game in Philadelphia at 9:39. That's 9:39. 9:39. That's 9:39 Philadelphia time.
That makes no sense.
It's the second game in a doubleheader.
I know, but that's just that's so late. You would think that they would give some respect earlier in the day.
I think the advantage might be to UCLA on that because UCLA their body clocks.
Yeah.
That's 6:39 for those kids, and for North Carolina that's literally 20 to 10. Because that's during the Eastern time zone. But Well, let me just tell you, Grizz, since you'll be watching that, and I'm going to try and
Oh,
watch
yeah, I'll
some
definitely
of that
be
one, so I want
watching,
to watch that game. These two Blue Bloods have only met twice in the tournament. Twice. UCLA beat North Carolina in the national championship game in 1968. Lou Alcindor, who became Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Lou Alcindor had 34 points and 16 boards in the game. And then the second time they met was in 1989 when North Carolina knocked the Bruins out in the second round in a game that Hubert Davis, the Tar Heels coach, he played about 5 minutes in that game. Hubert Davis. So Hubert Davis played in the game against UCLA the last time they played. Look, got to pull for the Heels here. We got to pull for the Tar Heels here because we're getting closer and closer. You know, I mean, who doesn't want Duke and UNC in the national semifinal? I mean, come on. Let's get a break. We'll come back with a final segment next. We'll tell you what to watch on TV. We kind of just told you what to watch on TV. But we'll tell you what to watch on TV this weekend next, right here on the Thom Abraham Show. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Heads up, sports bettors. Right now you can try VSiN All Access free for 30 days with no credit card required. Visit vsin.com/free month to sign up now.
Less than 2 weeks until the start of the Major League Baseball season. The Dodgers are the odds-on favorite to win the World Series at plus 450. The Blue Jays at plus 800. The Astros looking for their fourth American League pennant in 5 years. Third on the board at plus 950. The Sweet 16 continues tonight. St. Peter's, the 15th seed in the East region, a 12.5-point underdog against third-seeded Purdue. Later 8th-seeded North Carolina, a 2-point underdog against 4th-seeded UCLA. In the Midwest region, 4th-seeded Providence, plus 7.5 against top-ranked Kansas. And 11th-seeded Iowa State, a 2.5-point underdog against 10th-seeded Miami.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Tired of the same old menu options everywhere you go? Then you need to try Metro Diner in Huntsville and Madison. The award-winning Metro Diner serves up signature dishes like their Charleston shrimp and grits, famous fried chicken and waffles with strawberry butter, and lots more. Their entire menu is available anytime, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And stop by for brunch on Saturday or Sunday and enjoy the lowest price mimosas in town. Airport Road, Huntsville, and Highway 72 in Madison. In diner or at home, make it Metro Diner.
For over 20 years, Audio Insight has been designing and installing systems that integrate today's technology into homes and businesses all over the Tennessee Valley. At Audio Insight, they don't provide one-size-fits-all system solutions. Instead, they design your system from the ground up based on your valuable input. By working closely with you, Audio Insights can ensure that your system will meet your performance, budget, and aesthetic needs. Visit the showroom at 1229 Putman Drive off Jordan Lane and experience some of their fine products firsthand. Visit audio-insight.com to learn more.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now. and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialist from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Thom Abraham here from my friend Ross Roberts and his team at Valley Equipment Rental on the South Memorial Parkway. Did you know that Valley Equipment Rental is independently owned and operated by local folks right here in the Valley? They are celebrating 10 years into business this year and have grown to be North Alabama's largest supplier of rental skid steers and mini excavators. Now, if you have a question about what tool to use, just call them at 964-6081, and the pros at Valley Equipment will get you into the tool that you need for your specific project. Valley Equipment, more care in every rental.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly to mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. Temperatures only climbing into the mid and upper 50s. Some of us could see 60 degrees, but that number is going to be hard to come by. An isolated shower certainly can't be ruled out, but at the end of the day, most of us going to stay dry. Temperatures dropping into the upper 30s and lower 40s as we head into the overnight, into the first half of your weekend. Plenty of sunshine through Saturday afternoon. Temperatures hanging out in the upper 50s and lower 60s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Who wants coffee? Anybody wants coffee? Can you get me off the hook? Type C. The tire's tired.
Thom Abraham, weekdays from 10 till noon on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
All lines are open. Feel free to jump in 256-576-4977.
So I'm going to watch it on TV.
The game's on. Oh, I almost forgot. I'll be right there.
We like sports and we don't care who knows. From shooting hoops to the Super Bowl. We like sports and we don't care who knows.
Football, tennis, hockey, golf.
The game is starting. Everyone is here. I got my snacks, my friends, and a beer.
So I'm going to watch it on TV.
Are you ready for the football? A Monday night party!
So I'm going to watch it on TV. So I'm going to watch it on TV.
What to watch on TV tonight is brought to you by Dave Bond and his outstanding crew over at Audio Insight. Go to audio-insight.com and learn more about how they can put the proper equipment in your property and make sure that it looks beautiful and works perfectly. They know that one size doesn't fit all, and they're going to make sure they get what you need, whether it's your business or whether it is your home. The folks at Audio Insight will get it done. It's audio-insight.com, audio-insight.com. They're also on Putman Drive right off of Jordan Lane. You can check them out there, 1229 Putman Drive off of Jordan Lane. That's for Audio Insight. Well, obviously, Grizz, it's about the tournament this weekend, right? I mean, this weekend it's about the tournament. We gave you the rundown of the games tonight and in the order of the games that you would want to watch here tonight. And it's going to be, North Carolina, or check that. It's St. Peter's and Purdue in the early game on CBS. That begins at 6:09. Then Providence and Kansas gets started at 6:29 on TBS. You'll get North Carolina, UCLA following the St. Pete's Purdue game on CBS, and then the last game tonight will be Iowa State in Miami. So that's the first thing, and then over the weekend we'll determine who the Final Four is. We're going to determine who the Final Four is over the weekend, and we'll see how it's going to shape out. Right now, Grizz, I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be Duke. It's going to be. I'm going to say Duke. Duke, UNC. It would be too perfect for it to be North Carolina. Not North Carolina or UNC. One of the two are going to make it. No, Duke, UCLA, and it's going to be Nova. And I think Kansas will get there. I think we'll get one seed there. I'll go from right now. I'll go Kansas, Nova, Duke, UCLA. There you go. That's your Final Four.
Yeah, I'd probably have to agree with you on that one.
Am I close on that? I think I'm close on that. Next week, by the way, I've got you. You've got me for Monday and Tuesday. Tuesday we'll be doing a special show.
Yes.
Up on the mountaintop at the Ledges. I'll make my first trip 15 years, 18 years. I've been in this market 18 years. Never been up to the Ledges. When did the Ledges start? When did they open the Ledges? Well, it used to be just a mountain. How long has it been, do you think, since the Ledges have been the Ledges? Because I think it was being built around the time that I first got here in 2004. Not sure. But I'm going up there for the first time in my life. So I'll be up on the Ledges doing the show Tuesday there, and then I'm gonzo for the rest of the week from then. So Monday and Tuesday, we'll have a overreaction Monday coming up. Top 10 Tuesday from the Ledges. And then the boys will take you to the finish line the rest of the week next week. Coming up next, it's Chuck Oliver, then Paul Feinbaum, and then The Drive with Wes and Steve. And for Chad, I'm Tom. This is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hey men, this is John Deese, pastor of Cross Point Church. Whether your own marriage is like 1st and goal from the 1-yard line or 4th and 15 from your own 2, there is something to be learned which will help us grow and our wives to grow closer to God and to each other and to finish the game well. So if you are married or single again, our new marriage series, I Do, Building Our Marriage, is for you. Join us this Sunday at Cross Point Church at 9 o'clock or 10:30. Smack